Greetings everyone, I'm Davia Chambers with Let's Talk Tobago. In our fascinating stories this week, hard work, drive and talent pays off, whether in business, service or the arts. Also, are you still shopping for presents? We're here at Shervan Plaza and we're going to take a stroll. I think our first stop is food, but first, here's some of what's to come in this half hour. Leading this week, enriching the curriculum for early childhood care and education teachers. We'll also talk about increasing the blood supply because your donated blood could save a life. And we've got the winner and finalists from the secondary school's art competition. These stories and more when Let's Talk Tobago continues.
Going to Barbados? Why continue to pay high prices when you can get there for only US $231.95, all taxes included? Yes, you heard right. You can now travel to Barbados from Tobago for a mere US $231.95 on Gold's weekly service. So if you're going to Barbados for business, the beach, crop over, or attending university, stop wasting your money on those other high-priced airlines and get there for a fraction of the cost. To book, just log on to www.vogel.com.br. Barbados just got closer.
Shervan Plaza pretty much has everything, from home decor to specialty cakes to a casino upstairs, and a few other things we'll share as we go. But now let's talk about early childhood care and education. In our top story this week, we begin with the importance of your child's education by ensuring that ECCE teachers are professionally trained. And to tell us more, here's Omadara Mills.
These children are actually learning lessons that will help them in the future. But in order for them to do these activities, their teachers have to understand the significance of these teaching methods first. So close to 40 early childhood care and education ECCE teachers participated in a 5-day workshop entitled Rebranding Early Childhood Care and Education in the Tobago Preschool Context. One of the participants, Luan Gardner, of the Montgomery ECCE Center, hopes to use what she's learned at the seminar to improve the learning environment at her school.
What stood out to me is that early childhood teachers need to be professionals. We need to be respected as professionals and we need to respect others.
Besides learning about the qualities of a professional early childhood teacher, the participants now have a better understanding of other topics such as curriculum implementation, setting goals and learning outcomes, and lesson planning.
We realize that in order to produce a holistic child that would be able to go into society and effect change in society, we need to begin early by sensitizing all teaching staff as to the need to change their strategies.
The Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport facilitated the workshop for the 12 ECCE centers that are now under their management. Another objective of the conference is to allow people to understand the important role ECCE teachers have in the lives of children's education.
We talk about rebranding because we are not happy with the perceptions that people have of early childhood care and education. We are not happy that a number of persons do not recognize that you are the key persons in forming children because you get them at the stage where formation is everything.
The seminar was done to sensitize the teachers on what's expected of them in terms of the curriculum delivery and their school's operations as they move forward with the THA. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Next up on the Shervan Plaza has Everything Tour. Did you know that a convenience store is located here as well? Yes, the BMV Mini Mart opened just 1 week ago and they operate until 10 p.m. nightly. So we're in Bacalat for this next story. Originally built to host the FIFA Under-17 World Championships, the Dwight York Stadium can barely support local team practices. It's been in need of serious repair, but we hear a multi-million-dollar plan is going to change all that. Take a look.
Leakage, rust, and a ruined roof. are major issues at the Dwight York Stadium that need to be fixed urgently to have the arena up and running for Tobago's athletes. And come January, work should begin on a phase-by-phase basis to bring the now dilapidated Dwight York Stadium to a first-class stage. This comes after a tour of the facilities by the Minister of Sport, the Sports Company of Trinidad and Tobago, and the THA's Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport to evaluate the works that need to be done.
In much of the areas that you have seen today, in the dressing room areas, generator areas, where we have the tanks and so on, and that is caused by the areas where you have the concrete joints in the building. We have a material called Volchem there that has passed its useful life, and we are using a solution in Hazley Crawford now that we've been testing that we feel can arrest that problem.
The Dwight York Stadium was built 15 years ago, but since then, very little has been done except for a THA investment not so long ago, which included the repair of the Mondo track. Besides that, the athletic facility was left to fall apart.
The major issue we have in this stadium is the rusting. Because, to be honest with you, when the stadium were built, based on the proximity to the sea, all right, the structural members were not properly coated and so on. And that is why you have the level of deterioration that you have now in the stadium. We have a plan of action for it. We have an estimate for it.
The works will cost about $80 million and will include cosmetic touch-ups such as painting. In addition, software will be implemented for the preventative maintenance to be done scientifically. Therefore, problems like this will be a thing of the past.
What happens now, it seems like when a track is dead is when we close down the place and replace it, or when a roof is ready to cave in is when we do it. It shouldn't be like that. If you know a track has a 10-year life, we should start, of course the software package will assess and so on and let us know 8 years, 9 years to start a tender, start a look at replacing it. You don't wait for it to be dead. You're doing it in advance, so you give yourself ample time so you won't have shutdown periods.
Lighting is another issue at the Dwight York Stadium, but the Tobago House of Assembly says they will fund part of the project. The Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport hopes that for the 2016 athletic season, athletes should not only be able to train at the stadium, but there should be competitive activity on the multi-million-dollar Mondo track invested by the Assembly. I'm Keishon Wilson for Let's Talk Tobago.
Before I get into our next story, I just want to point out that right behind me here at Shervan Plaza is one place you can go to repair your cell phones and computers. Today, people who want to know where to eat, where to stay, or where to travel go on the internet to read the reviews and recommendations. If you have a tourism business, you too need to be online and understand social media marketing. Here's our look at tourism this week.
Whether they're used for marketing or real-time customer feedback, social and digital media are crucial for businesses of any size. That's why the Division of Tourism and the Transportation and the TDC Development Company are collaborating to encourage small tourism operators to use these tools to improve their business and generate more interest.
What you are in the business of sharing dreams and sharing experiences. You're in the business of making people feel good. All the way back home, they're sharing stuff. The entire experience.
Kate Trotman of Native Abode credits social networking for the company's success.
We can say that the use of Facebook, Twitter, TripAdvisor and Expedia has allowed us to get into markets that we would not have gotten into previously, so much so that the experiences that our guests have had with us have allowed them to share on TripAdvisor the unique experience, so much so that we are rated number 2 in bed and breakfast on TripAdvisor in the whole of Trinidad and Tobago.
Mr. Ian John says that keeping up with social media can be a bit challenging for some, but it is still worth the effort to use at least one. Small tourism operators are also using social media effectively after receiving social media marketing training.
We've offered them social media and niche marketing courses, which would have at that time entailed how do you have a Facebook account. We have organized personal and business Facebook pages for them.
Owners of small tourism businesses are now more aware of how social media can impact the development of their business as visitors rate their experiences and tell their stories through digital media. From the Division of Tourism and Transportation, I'm Juliet James for Let's Talk Tobago.
Save a life, give blood. You're going to be hearing more of this on the island and also from us. See you after the break. We'll be right back.
Hey, why don't you step into the Scarborough Library facility? It has all the knowledge of our land, people and heritage that you just won't find online. The Scarborough Library facility is now open. Tobago Library Services. Information inspires innovation.
Hello again. I'm Davia Chambers at the Sicilian Ristorante in Shervan Plaza. Now, I haven't eaten here as yet, but I think it was one of our staffers who said the food was scrumptious. Note to self, plan a night of fine dining. Now, totally switching topics. You know, sometimes we don't realize the importance of something until it affects us personally. Every year, blood is needed to sustain the lives of patients. So having a healthy supply of blood is crucial for hospitals and health centers. This is where you and I come in.
People may not readily think about saving a life by giving blood, but being a lifesaver this way is what the Junior Chamber International JCI Tobago wants Tobagonians to do. Besides raising awareness through the media and merchandise about Project #Lifesaver, the group has planned a social event.
The blood dinner was really to get 100 pints of blood donated in commemoration of 100 years of JCI. But after further consultation and collaboration, we realized it goes a lot more than that. And Project Lifesaver was born. And it's based on the fact that a blood donor is a lifesaver.
A dinner is not all. The NGO seeks to create positive change by getting more people involved via a blood donation drive.
We're going to have a blood donation drive that is really going to happen before or just around World Blood Donor Day on June 14th. And the aim, we really want to see that we get more blood donors on World Blood Donor Day than we did last year or any time in the past.
JCI Tobago is not alone in this initiative. They've partnered with the Division of Health and Social Services and the Blood Lab at the Scarborough General Hospital to carry out the blood drive. And for those healthy, well-rested and properly hydrated people who can give blood, here are some of the procedures that require your blood.
Getting increasing numbers of accidents here. As you all know, we have a small ICU. We hopefully will get enlarged, and therefore we expect to be able to take care of more critically ill patients. We have the oncology center. They also need a blood supply. We have dialysis. All these are areas that constantly, chronically draw blood.
The dinner and the blood donation drive will take place next year. I'm Umadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Shervan Plaza also caters to the working woman. This one-of-a-kind boutique is a favorite among business professionals. We turn now to a few groups who understand the meaning of giving. Their tireless service to others has paid off in abundance, not just for them, but for the people they serve. Have a look at this story.
Some held Christmas parties for children. Some distributed hampers to needy families. But what they all had in common is that they did it with a giving heart to help others. So it was time for those organizations in Tobago who give selflessly to now receive from the Office of the Chief Secretary to continue the work being done.
The funds will be coming in very handy because we have our annual gift of love that we give to the community, that's the children. And yesterday was our function and we catered for 400 children. We gave toys to 400 children, including refreshments, and they have bouncy castle. They had a lot of fun. But today the money came in very handy because there were some outstanding suppliers that we need to pay.
The Mariah Police Youth Club also got funds to assist them with an upcoming trip.
They're going to St. Lucia for Easter, but some of the children would have already purchased the tickets, get wherever they have to get part might go to accommodation. Transport might be provided free in St. Lucia due to the Police Youth Club.
The organizations were all grateful for the funds received from the Chief Secretary.
We want to see how good it is. It reminds us of the psalmist who said how good is for brethren to dwell together in unity. This is exactly what it speaks about, because we are all unified here this morning for a common cause. And we want to thank you, because I know you didn't just get up one morning and say, let me call some people and give them some money. We think it's divine instructions that you have decided to do this for us. And we want to thank you.
Over $100,000 was given out, and it's hoped that the work these groups do here will inspire others to make a difference in the lives of the people of Tobago. I'm Keishon Wilson for Let's Talk Tobago.
What an interesting name. This place is called Bake My Day. It specializes in cakes for any occasion, weddings, birthdays, baby showers. I could go on. But that's not all. They offer soup, sandwiches, and burgers on Friday all day. I'm making myself hungry talking about all this food, so we have to move on. Let your life serve as an example for others. It is possible to have a passion for something, to train and study it, and then work to make a difference in your field. Here's an incredible story on just that premise.
Want something more, someone more like me. Yeah, there's times when
The Tobago Jazz Experience and the Blue Food Festival. Besides the tourists, do you know what else they have in common? Well-trained professionals coordinating the events, some of whom have been certified right on the island at the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute, THTI. One such individual is the Acting Tourism Development Officer 2 at the Division of Tourism and Transportation, Rosetta Ford. Ms. Ford completed her associate degree in Tourism and Hospitality Management at the Institute around 2010, a certification which she's been able to apply to her line of work.
I've been involved in quite a lot of the events that the Division of Tourism plan, and in some way there might have been something from one or two of those courses that you could have utilized in your planning or the area of responsibility you have when planning those events.
Besides the general courses such as public relations and marketing for the tourism industry and the relationship between the environment and tourism, Ms. Ford says that learning about the operations of a kitchen was another beneficial course for her.
Basically, I'm involved with the food vendors, craft vendors, whenever the division has an event. And even in terms of the detail and the ways in which you would want your vendors to present themselves, Kitchen Org in particular would have impacted on me in being able to look at what you want your vendors to, the image you want your vendors to display.
THDI was established in the late 1990s. The Institute provides short courses, certificates, and associate degrees in areas such as bartending, the culinary arts, food and beverage management, hospitality studies, and tourism studies.
THDI comes in where you can get the formal training, whether you want to become a tour guide, your tour guide courses, you want to set up a little restaurant, you can do the culinary program with them. So there is something that everybody, once you're interested, you can do.
Besides Ms. Ford, THDI has produced hundreds of graduates who have used the training they received at the institution to build a stronger tourism industry in Tobago. Just recently, over 30 students graduated with associate degrees from the institute. I'm Omodara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
The wait is over. We've got all the results of the secondary school's art competition when we return from these messages. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Davia Chambers, and I think our Shervan Plaza has everything tour is turning into a showcase of food. We're near Crackers and Roosters, where fast food lovers can try a combo at Roosters, and for those wanting Creole food, you can get the buffet at Crackers. Our next story is the kind of story that gives and keeps on giving. It's about culture, artistic expression, a calendar, cash prizes, a high school in the East, and a talented student by the name of Rowan Augustine. We check in with Caroline Wallace.
Rowan Augustine of Speyside High School reaction on finding out she was named the 2015 Chief Secretary's Tobago Secondary Schools Art Competition winner. Her piece titled Djembe, which depicts a pair of hands furiously beating a djembe drum while silhouettes dance in the background, will now grace the covers of the 2016 Chief Secretary's calendar. Rowan also walked away with $3,000 in Unit Trust Corporation units and, of course, bragging rights.
I feel very ecstatic, overwhelmed. I feel really happy about it because this is the first time taking part in any art competition.
Rowan says winning this competition is more than gaining a trophy or a title. She sees it as an avenue to boost her confidence and move forward to greater things.
I haven't really thought about it before, but now winning this competition just made me start to think about focusing on art more and continuing that.
Entries from Speyside High School also got 11 of the 12 pieces in the calendar. The remaining finalists came from Scarborough Secondary. They also won $1,500 in Unit Trust Corporation's units. Each of those students' artwork will be featured in the calendar from January to December. Speyside High was also named the winning school for the 2015 contest. For this feat, they returned to the East with $10,000.
We really worked hard this year. We submitted 22 entries and we were hoping to win the entire calendar. That was our goal this year. But we fell short by one. We got 11 out of the 12, but that's a very, very commendable effort. The students really work hard. The three teachers work hard, myself, Mr. Thomas, and Ms. O. We are a committed team, the dynamic trio we call ourselves, and we work together to ensure that all the students get the necessary instruction so that they could be successful.
Participants also received merit awards. This year's competition was described as the best by the Chief Secretary Orville London, and its responses like that of Rowan, who is now seeing the benefits of art that satisfies him. Mr. London says the investment by the Assembly in young artists is paying off. The art pieces are currently being exhibited at the Gulf City Mall, Lowlands. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
We're at the plaza on Sherburne Road where we spoke to businesses and they wanted us to remind you to check them out for any and all your last-minute shopping. All right, next up, 175. Remember that number. Christmas comes a little early for sports teams when a father and son join forces to make a special delivery to schools in Tobago. Here's Keyshawn Wilson with all the details.
Tobago is known for creating football greats like Dwight York. And in recent times, top primary school players like Diamond Arthur and Kyle Jack of Bonaccord Government Primary. But footballers can't be successful without proper training, good facilities, and of course, equipment. And schools around Tobago that have a keen interest in sports, like Bonaccord Primary School, now have even more footballs for their training sessions. It's the first annual schools football distribution drive on the island by a father and son duo from Canada.
In 2014, at my last visit, God placed into my heart to give balls to Trinidad and Tobago. So I went back home with the help of my dad, Pastor Patrick Lashley, my church, and my soccer club. We raised 175 soccer balls for Trinidad and Tobago.
It's a program that the Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sports supports because it helps with the development of the footballers' skills.
As a coach myself, coaching in Bishop's High School, yes, gentlemen, you know me, you know the importance of having equipment to do the training that you need to do. And this is one of the ways that a lot of us sometimes get our equipment through our donations.
And the administrators of the institutions are grateful for the donation.
We are indeed proud of that, and I hope that this is a
venture that will continue and will continue to remember Signal Hill.
Footballs were distributed to both primary and secondary schools in the east, west, and north of Tobago. The father-son pair hopes to host the football distribution drive yearly. I'm Keyshawn Wilson for Let's Talk Tobago.
Besides buying, wrapping, and unwrapping presents, Christmas is a time to be with your loved ones. So please be safe if you're traveling during this time. Next, the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee has announced new incentives for athletes competing in 2016 games. Cash rewards will be given to medal winners, and for medalist Akeem Stewart, that sounds perfectly fine. Have a look.
He medaled in the Pan American Games in Toronto earlier this year, winning the men's discus and javelin events in the F44 class. And Akeem Stewart has received not only a medal, but a cash reward from the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee, $6,000 to be exact.
I would like to say a special thanks to TTOC for the medal bonus, and I am really grateful for it. I will use it at least compete in 2 meets next year, and hopefully, as a present, I will qualify for Rio 2016, both Para and Summer Olympics. Thank you.
And while Akeem will do his part to qualify for 2016, the Olympic Committee is already motivating athletes like Akeem for the upcoming season with this.
We would have declared that the medal bonus for the Rio 2016 game is 10,850, 10,000 US for gold, 8,000 US for silver, and 5,000 US for bronze. And I must say there was a particular conversation inside of Olympic House when we went to the board meeting, and they agreed, as I said, I had the backing of Secretary General Nutt. I know it wouldn't be remiss of me if I didn't say this. I'm not telling Tays out of school, but a comment was made, well, President, you better make sure you have plenty money, because you're going to be playing out plenty money between the Olympics and the Paralympics. So, Akeem, 10,000 US is at stake, so go through hard, son.
If Akeem qualifies for both the Paralympics and the Olympics, he will be the first athlete in Trinidad and Tobago to do so. Akeem is coached by Tobagonian Wade Franklin. They are supported by the Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
This week, our stories took us to Bacalet, Speyside, and around the island. And now it's time for a viewer segment where you get to have your say. We don't mean to be humdrum, but we understand this time of year can be difficult for some. So we ask you, how is the economic downturn affecting your Christmas? Here's what a few of you said.
Not near too bad around the session right now, because if I will look how tongues look today, is that today's Wednesday. Look, what's the condition of tongue? And the same thing, I want to take me really hard to all that.
If you didn't tell me, I wouldn't have known Trinidad and Tobago is in a recession, but because you can't tell. Shoppers are out in their numbers, people are still in the shops buying. I went to the bank just now, the queues were outside, so people obviously still have money to shop.
It wouldn't affect me much because, I believe it's how you spend your money. And you could use in portion. If you'd rather buy a whole turkey, you could buy a portion, and you could still enjoy your Christmas.
Because I'm involved in the performing arts field, a lot of times whenever recession hits, the first thing they start to cut are arts. For whatever reason, it's not deemed as important as in other areas. So for me, in terms of funding to help doing plays, doing productions, hosting festivals, stuff like that, I know it's going to be affecting us a lot.
Affect me very, very, very bad.
I wouldn't make it a problem for me because I learned to accept a lot of things, so it wouldn't be bothered by me.
Well, we've come to the close of our program, but we will be back next week to keep you informed on what's happening in and around Tobago. As always, email us if you have a story, know of a wonderful villa we should visit, or have a comment or query about our program. You may also visit our website, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Davia Chambers. On behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, we thank you for watching and wish you a safe and joyous time during this holiday season.